What is up, everyone? It's Dude in the comfiest pajamas ever right now, ready to chill and talk about some Dark Magician cards. In my latest video, the new Dark Magician or Dark Magic Amulet V-Jump promo, we are going to assess the comments of what people think the card will do, and then I'll give my predictions on what I think the card needs to do at the end of the video. Alright, we're on the video and jumping to the comments. We're going to start here with Josh, who says, "Call me jaded, but this is gonna be like, if your opponent attacks, reveal a Dark Magician in your hand and banish every good card in your deck to negate that one attack. Next turn, your opponent can attack twice." So this is going to be a theme with a lot of the comments here. They're going to be more or less, you know, taking the mickey out of this card by basically saying this card's probably going to have a negative effect or just a very mediocre effect. Anyway, I thought this was a good start to the comments, and next we've just got David saying, "It's got a decent art, so I expect it to be terrible." Very valid. The art is quite cool. It looks pretty much like Circle and Spellbinding Circle put together, I believe, like the OCG art for Spellbinding Circle, not the TCG art. I'll have those on the screen, but yeah, what do you guys think? This could be like some sort of negation. That would be really nice. Kaiser DXD says, "All face-up banished monsters on your side of the field are banished face down, and it wipes your board, because why not?" Yeah, why not? Torrent Arrow, "I swear if this does something insane and is actually good, but is locked behind it being a slow trap, I'm going to crash out." I will say, if this trap is that good, turn one, we do have ways to get to it. It's not like a one-card combo. It'll be like a clunky 2 to 3 card combo, but we can get to it turn one. I can go into that if the card's actually good, but we'll wait until that. We've got Tabsan, who just says, "If you control a DM, negate. That's what amulets do." I don't know if that is what amulets do. In Oblivion and stuff, they do give you resistances of some sort most of the time, I guess. Anyway, Maverick says, "I hope it allows the return of DM or DMG from the Banish Zone. Knowing Konami, it will add one DM or DMG from deck to hand." That could also be good. And if you haven't noticed until this point in the video, you could probably just listen to this video. You don't need to watch anything really. But yeah. Oh, this is an interesting comment because this is going to be what I talk about a bit later, but I'll still leave it. Lavi Greenberg says, "Let's make it into DM Drill Beam. If you have a Dark Magician or a Dark Magician Girl in your Banish Zone, you can target one face-up card on the field, negate and banish this card. If you do, you can special a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from your Banish Zone. During your main phase, if you control a Dark Magician or a Dark Magician Girl, accept this card from graveyard. You can only use each effect of Dark Magic Amulet once per turn." So without spoiling too much of what I want to say, yeah, this is a good idea. This could be something that's cool. Indra Chimera said, "Please God, let this be something that interacts with the Banish Zone." And to some degree, that is what I thought. I think if you noticed a lot of my content around the new cards, I was like, it feels like we're missing like the fourth and final card to tie these cards together in the Banish Zone. Because like we don't use the Banish Zone normally. So hopefully there's a card that helps us like fix that. So I'm glad other people are speculating that. That's really cool. Oh, this is a big one from Nova. Nova says, "If you control a Dark Magician, you can use this card from the hand. Dark Magician or a monster that lists Dark Magician will be removed from the field, or if its effects are negated by an opponent's card effect, special one Palladium monster from deck. If you do, negate and destroy that card." Interesting, and it's got a graveyard effect. "Remove this from grave and banish it." Yeah, yup. A special one Dark Magician or a monster that mentions it from banishment, but its effects are negated this turn. Interesting. So to summarize Nova's comment, in the grave you banish, and you special a DM or a DM monster from banishment, but no effects. Other effect, if you control DM, you can use this card from hand, like a hand trap. If Dark Magician or a monster that listed would be removed from the field, or its effects are negated, special summon Palladium from deck. If you do, negate and destroy that card. Wow, an extender that's like a called by the grave. It can be used by the hand if you have DM on the field. Wow, that would make Magician Soul Summoning Dark Magician the most important start to our turn, because you're going to want to put DM on the field before you use Rod effect, right? Yeah, that's pretty good card, Nova. It's a bit too good, that's why they won't do that. That'd be pretty perfect. We have Stripped Suno, who says, "Special summon DM from the hand, deck, grave, or banishment. Then return all cards from your opponent's hand, field, graveyard, and banishment to their deck. Opponent can't activate cards in response. Then at the end of your turn, you lose a duel because we need a negative effect that counteracts the DM cards." We've got iGemini. "Fusion summon a card that lists Dark Magician by shuffling material from hand, field, grave, and banished into the deck. Banish this card from your grave, special a level 6 or higher spellcaster that mentions Dark Magician, and one Dark Magician from deck, hand, grave, or banished." Oh wow. You can't summon the turn you activate either of these cards' effects except Dark Magician or monsters that mention Dark Magician. Okay, well, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's a fusion trap, which is like, okay, yeah, it's a trap, but it's also got a crazy grave effect too. Not to mention, you could like Magician Souls this card to the graveyard, banish it, special a level 6 or higher spellcaster that mentions DM, and then Dark Magician himself. You got 3 bodies on the field. You can only further go into Dark Magician cards, but still, that seems pretty good. I don't mind that at all. Next, we got Dodo. So Dodo said, preferably it should have been a clause similar to, if you control Dark Magician, you can activate this card the same turn it was set. And I agree with you that it should have some sort of interaction with the Banish Zone, but also with the deck at the same time, so it's not a brick. Edit, I'm going to reply to this comment with the effect I would like it to have. Alright, so we got to open the comments for Dodo's description. So Dark Magic Amulet, this card's also always treated, as Eternal Soul. Why would that matter? Does it being Eternal Soul matter? Oh, you can set it off Salvation, right? You can set it off Salvation, that's what matters. Special summon Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from deck or Banish Zone. Then you may set one spell trap from deck or Banish Zone that mentions either of them. You can activate this card the same turn it was set, or from your grave during either player's turn by banishing it and a Dark Magician monster or card that mentions any of them from your field or grave. You can only activate one Dark Magic Amulet per turn. Okay, that had a lot going on. Because it's a trap, I feel like if we are summoning DM or DMG from deck or banished, we need to set a spell trap that's DM based that we can flip that turn, you know what I mean? So we can set like, what's our negate trap? We have the Destined Rivals. If you could like flip this, kind of like Navigation, summon DM from deck, set Navi and it can be flipped, not Navi, sorry. You could set Navi as well, but set Rivals, Destined Rivals, and then you've got like an Imperm negate. That's kind of nice, like this card turning into Dark Magician Summon and Imperm, kind of, right? That could be good. That could be good. That's not even taking into account the grave kind of effect shenanigans. Yeah, Dodo be cooking. Alright, we're going to check out Wilfred's comment. He said it would be nice if it's a retrain of Navigation, special a DM or DMG from deck, plus a monster that mentions DM in its text, and right after it resolves, fusion summon a monster using the material. And something cool by banishing itself from grave. Well, we'll have to interpret the something cool ourselves. I will say, like Navigation, quick effect to banish and negate something. Just straight up. If you control DM or DMG, banish negate. Like, let it just be that simple. It can be like a monster effect, maybe a spell or trap, I don't care. Just make it all of them. Make it an Omni negate. That would be cool. That would actually make this card good. Master Decoy says, Amulet makes me... Sorry, I'm scrolling around. Master Decoy says, Amulet makes me think Amulet Dragon. Not a good sign. You might be right, brother. Amulet could also mean an equip effect. Not a good sign. Also true. On the Dark Magic side, we have Secrets of Dark Magic, Black Magic Ritual, Dark Magic Curtain, Dark Magic Veil, Dark Magic Mirror Force. Besides DMMF, all of those summon. Dark Magic Mirror Force. All of those summon. The Circle in the Art tends to lead to that as well. Not really conclusive, but I figured I'd compile that info. Interesting. So basically, Master Decoy reckons this could be potentially an equip-based effect. But you know what? If it's like stealing an opponent's monster, that could be really good. Like, in theory, if we had an in-archetype steal an opponent's monster, could be good. I do agree that we kind of need this card to be a hand trap. Like, if we can use it from the hand, please. We don't really want to be setting any more traps in this deck where we're kind of happy just setting Eternal Soul and some, like, Imperms or something. Can we please get, like, a hand trap? That would be awesome. Branded has an in-archetype hand trap. Some other decks too, Subterra. We're kind of a control-y deck where I feel like that would be really on par for us. We'll see what they do, but let's keep reading some more suggestions. Void Sneaker says, once per turn during your opponent's main phase 2, banish your deck, lose 10,000 LP, also your opponent wins the match. After the match, throw your cards in the trash. Okay. Yep. That's a real DM player there. They've been burnt by Konami before. Don't forget, Apprentice Illusion Magician was a jump promo. And so was Chronicle Magician. And Apprentice was good for the time. Chronicle, no. Especially Sorceress. Chronicle Sorceress? Oh, terrible. Should have been a link. But anyway. The Royal Pharaoh says, I feel like it's going to be a ritual or fusion spell, perhaps from the grave or shuffling banish materials into the deck. That said, we don't need another trap, we need better spells and main deck monsters to improve the deck's engines into our boss monsters. If cards will continue the trend of buffing everything around the deck except fixing the main problems, nothing to see here, folks. Wow. That is such a level-headed Dark Magician player opinion. This is clearly a player who enjoys the deck and has tried to play it in a competitive environment. Because I feel like a lot of pure and casual DM fans, a lot of you guys are just like, haha, we got a new card, yeehaw. This guy's actually like, look, we don't need another trap. We've got a couple. None of them are great. We really need a good spell, and that's something I've been saying for a while. Whether it's a great starter or a great fusion spell, either one's fine. But he also mentioned main deck monster, which I do think we're at a point where we've got a decent amount of main deck monsters. Yeah, they're not all good, but like Rod's pretty alright. Souls is pretty good. Like, they're probably our most solid monsters, and with Illusion of Chaos to grab them, that's nice. And any future main deck monsters we get, Illusion of Chaos can get, which is nice, right? So I'm not opposed to another Dark Magician, oh sorry, just pop the mic. I'm not opposed to another Dark Magician main deck monster that's decent. Because obviously we would play 3 of it if it's that good, but it can also, even if it's like a techie 2 to 1 of, like Illusion of Chaos can go fetch it, right? So that's always nice. Kind of like Monster Timaeus and Apprentice Illusion, we kind of play them at 1 now because we're like, oh, we don't really want to see them. But they're sometimes good, so you can sometimes get them thanks to Illusion of Chaos. But I really agree with this comment. Like, this is the one that's spoken to me the most so far. This card is the trend of buffing things around the deck or just making new cards for the deck, but not actually fixing some of the main problems of the deck. Like, hey, the deck wants us to play all these DM spells and traps, so circle hits, but none of the DM spell traps are very good. Or none of them are, like, universally good, right? They're, like, good in certain scenarios. Like, Dark Magic Attack was really good in the Mystic Mind format. Since then, it isn't really that relevant. But let's say you versus a Runic player, once again, having Dark Magic Attack on the side is really good. Eternal Soul only being able to search Thousand Knives and Dark Magic Attack, also super scuffed. So one thing they could do is remake Dark Magic Attack, remake Thousand Knives as like hand traps, that we can then search off Eternal Soul, and then Eternal Soul has good search targets. Of course, some people might just say, hey, just make a retrain of Eternal Soul to make it more like True Light and make it good. And I would say, yeah, that could also happen, but I feel like we're more likely to get retrains of Thousand Knives and Dark Magic Attack. But let's go to the next comment. This one's from the One Only Noob, and he says, might be a searchable Omni-Destruction like Majesty of the White Dragon, similar to True Light. I don't know why he's saying similar to True Light. I get what he means, like Majesty, where you reveal a number of DMs and pop cards. That is also a thing that crossed my mind. The artwork referencing Circle and Spellbinding Circle makes me more think Banish or Negate, but this could also be the case. It could become a pop card as well. TM relies on fusion more. It might be a fusion card that uses Graveyard like Magicalize or the Banish Pile. But in Japan, Amulet normally is some sort of protective charm. This could be a card that negates or protects monsters. Well, that's the second comment about amulets being about protecting people, and I guess I've missed the memo on this. For my English literature, understanding bad, but I'm starting to see that amulets seem to be hinting to protection of some sort. So will we see a card that protects Dark Magicians like Eternal Soul already does though? So we kind of need this more to be a negate more than a protect. Like we need it to protect our monster by negating the opponent. So I'm hoping it leans into that anyway. I'm going to go down to this comment that says, pay 2,500 live points to special DM Surrender Duel. Nice. Very nice. Nicola says, summons Dark Magician from my binder. I keep it in the drawer under the desk. It'd be good if we didn't have to main deck the vanilla, huh? It'd be nice. I like this comment from Amaris. Just giving off Spellbinding Circle feelings. I feel that too. Coolsy says, I have some feeling. It'll be something to do with summoning a monster that mentions DM from hand or grave, ignoring summoning conditions. Could be a way to play our rituals straight from hand without actually ritual summoning. Or even reviving some of the fusions that are locked to extra deck only summons. That would be interesting. Bringing back like Dark Paladin from the grave with this could be cool. And our last comment today is going to be from Alex, and they say, don't think I'm ready to get hurt again, LOZA. Heart says, move any amount of TMG from banishment to deck and draw the amount. Pretty cool. Probably needs to do more as a trap, but pretty cool. Brain says, special summon 1 DM from banish. Can you imagine we get this card and it's literally just special DM from banish? Man, I would be pretty mad. I would be pretty salty. They better do something better than that. And now it's and to give my final thoughts and opinions on what this trap card should or would be. Now personally, I've been playing a lot of Primite Dark Magician. You've probably seen on my channel, I got second place at locals with it. Fumbling in the finals unfortunately, but we'll give it another crack another week. What I noticed about the deck is that the Primite engine is absolutely insane at making like a one card version of the Dark Magician Triangle. Of course I'm talking about normal summoning Beryl, getting load getting Drill Beam, and load summoning Dark Magician. Just in that one normal summon, I've got Dark Magician on my field, and I've got a negate that banishes Drill Beam. Not only that, Beryl will recycle itself to my hand next turn if I've got a vanilla on my field or grave, and Drill Beam I can reveal a vanilla on my field or my hand, I can reveal a vanilla on the field hand or Primite on the field hand to negate something, and then next turn if I have Beryl on my field, I can reset it. So it's just this great negate engine that keeps on feeding into itself, right? If your opponent doesn't negate your way to get Drill Beam or your load, you just get infinite value. And if you happen to open barrel and load and they negate one and they don't have the negate for the other, they feel bad, and it's really good. It's the kind of the Invoker Alistair and having Invocation in hand, right? And then Meltdown, like, you go Meltdown. If they ash you, oh, you have the Alistair. You know the Alistair. They hand trap you, oh, I already have Invo. Sometimes it's like that. And this engine feels like that for Dark Magician. Primite, of course, an engine that's meant to support the vanilla Dark Magician, and every vanilla deck for that matter. It feels like it found its home in Blue Eyes, but I gotta tell you, in Dark Magician, it feels really good as well. So please give it a try. I know it's an expensive engine, but wait for the reprints and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Anyway, why am I talking about Primite so much? Well, not only do I think it's amazing with Dark Magician, I think this trap needs to be Dark Magic Drill Beam. That's right. Why will I ever play Magician's Rod and more than one while I've got Primite Barrel? A card like this needs to be kind of the convincing factor, because even if we do have a good trap or spell that I can, you know, get it with Rod, I can just use Soul Servant to get it as well. So this card's got to be kind of game-changing for me to not want to run Primite Barrel as my normal summon and run Rod instead to get another chance of getting this, right? Obviously, Soul Servant helps you get there. Obviously, Rod can help me get there. And even a card like Dark Magic Inheritance, while a terrible card, considering all our spells banish themselves or don't go to grave, it could be nice if this card is that phenomenally good. So, with all that said, this card needs to be Drill Beam. It needs to be a Drill Beam that can be activated from the hand, and that would need to at least negate. It doesn't have to do the banish part of Drill Beam, but let me tell you, it needs to negate and it needs to destroy. Being on theme with Dark Magician, though, we see the circle. We see the circle here, everyone can see that, and within that circle, another circle. And within that circle, a bunch of stars, similar to that of Spellbinding Circle in the OCG art in the middle. What I predict is this will be a hand trap that negates and banishes. Similar to that of Drill Beam, not sure it will have the resetting ability, but it should. That's my final thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments. This card needs to be Dark Magician Drill Beam though, so that we're able to not be a joke of a deck, to be honest. Rod can recycle itself already a little bit like Barrel. If this card can then recycle itself, we have a reason to play Magician's Rod, and we have a reason to drop the Primite engine. But as of now, especially with the new support, where our Dark Magician of Destruction really wants to be summoned with a spell and a vanilla, guess what does that? Primite Raw and Primite Lordly Load can get you Raw, and Barrel can get you Load. So, once again, you see what I'm saying? It's like, well, Barrel is like one card do everything I want with Dark Magician, and it always will be. Until they just make Dark Magician engine cards that are good. So, Konami, the ball is in your court. You can keep giving us cards, but if they're not good, we're not going to play them. It's that simple. I just like to point out the art. The background just reminds me of Eternal Soul. I don't know why. I know it's not Eternal Soul. The card's just purple/pink. But I don't know. It gives me Circle vibes, obviously, but with like Eternal Soul behind it, even though it's not there. I don't know. That's my vibe. If this card was a card that mixed Circle and Eternal Soul, that would be great too, because we're kind of sick of playing them. If this is Konami's answer to that, that would be fantastic. If this card identifies a Circle and Eternal Soul, fantastic. But anyway, I'm going to go. Let me know what you think down in the comments again, though. And yeah, I can't wait for this card to actually get revealed. And of course, I'll have a video on it the hour it comes up. So make sure you're subscribed so you see that when it happens. And I'll catch you guys then. Peace.